One more time. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent. We are a spiritual community that seeks to be diverse and inclusive as we live out our mission to inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. I'm Reverend Stephen, minister of this congregation and your worship associate today. We extend a special welcome to our visitors. Thank you for worshiping with us this morning. And if there's anyone I didn't get a chance to say hello to personally, hello, it's good to see you. Now, let's gather ourselves in, let's breathe together, let's enter our time of community, and let's invite the Spirit to be present among us as we open our hearts to life and the gift of this day. Elaine wrote about today's service, wherever you look, it's that time of red, white, and blue, everything from decorations and party goods to clothing and porch-hung bunting and flags galore everywhere. And then they're gone, these outward signs of patriotism for summer's big holiday. But what if you look beyond the red, white, and blue, the merchandising, and think, I'm not feeling very patriotic. I'm not in love with America or being American anymore. What exactly are we celebrating in our discontent besides cookouts, fireworks, and if you're lucky, a paid day off from work? As Elaine asked, it should be freedom and equality for all, but is it? Let us reflect together this morning on what it means to be American and patriotic in these challenging times. Come, let us worship together.
As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice to unite us in worship. Our words this morning are from Heather K. Janulis for the freedom of faith. Our prophets died for the freedom of faith. We are here in their spirit. We are here to practice and sustain our living tradition, to light a chalice claiming for justice the heat and power of the fire. In our free faith, we are here, seeking freedom from despair, the freedom to be loved as ourselves, and the freedom to grow beyond imagination. We are here, gathered in the name of all that we find holy. Let us give thanks for the gift of gathering here. Amen. This is our spiritual home, where we learn to be human and how to deepen our relationship with the sacred. To do that, we create a time of shared silence for each of us to connect with that which we hold to be the ultimate meaning in life. Some of us pray, others reflect, while others meditate or offer gratitude in their hearts. Or we can simply be. The how doesn't matter. What does matter is that we are reminded of who we truly are. We have a chance to reflect on life in its wonder, and we reconnect with the sacred mystery that is the very heart of life itself. Let us enter the sacred silence. Life is a mystery that brings many things. Part of our experience is struggle and loss. In the spirit of being a community of compassion and care, we take time to share those sorrows, struggles, and losses that are in our hearts right now. If you are on Zoom and have a sorrow, loss, or struggle to share, please use the chat box. Carol Wigand is asking for care and concern for her friend who is battling cancer. We send our love to you, Carol, and may it continue on to your friend. Claudia Miller offers that her furry pal of 19 years, the indefatigable Kitty, is in hospice at home, thankful for her precious, precious life. This is a concern/milestone and perhaps joy from Kathy and Kevin Kearns that their son Noah is leaving this week for a 3-year tour of duty in Okinawa, Japan. We wish him Godspeed. Heidi Sumser. Thoughts go out to my friend Sarah, who recently suffered a minor heart attack. May she heal completely and well. From Elizabeth Hill Swango, prayers for my sister-in-law Susan, who is in an advanced stage of ALS in the hospital with very difficult to treat pneumonia and complications from that. Blessings upon Susan and her struggles. May her family know the love that surrounds her. Margaret Stasko, learning to forgive abuse that has happened in my life. That is difficult. That is so, so very difficult. And we send you love to surround you as you continue that journey of forgiveness. We hold all these in our hearts as we enter a time of prayer. Spirit of love, may our hearts be filled. May our hearts be filled this morning with the love that surrounds us in this room and extends to our family out in the wider world. It has been a difficult, challenging, and sometimes painful week for many people, many that we care for. It is not, however, time without hope, for there is always hope. We will work together in the spirit of love in our ongoing quest for a life more just, for equality, for all people. May it be so. Amen. Life also brings joy, wonder, and awe. We've experienced moments of that this week that have lifted us and our spirits. If you're attending this service via Zoom, please use the chat box. A happy 4th of July birthday to Ann Verweeby, our little firecracker. For our dear, dear friend David Brown, we wish a happy and healthy retirement, as Friday was his last day as director of the Canal Fulton Public Library. Happy retirement, David. We're so happy for you. Bonnie Graham Esparza says, gratitude for my 87-year-old mother's recovery from a fractured sacrum. And may she heal and continue to heal well.
In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth, to separate an equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall they seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
An excerpt from What to the Slave is the 4th of July by Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was invited to address a meeting of the Rochester, New York Ladies Anti-Slavery Society. He chose to deliver his oration on July 5th, not the 4th, 1852. It was 9 years prior to the outbreak of the Civil War. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciations of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are, to him, mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. There is not a nation on earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. Go where you may, search where you will, roam through all the monarchies and despotisms of the old world, travel through South America, search out every abuse. And when you have found the last, lay your facts by the side of the everyday practices of this nation, and you will say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without a rival.
We understand that we are all used to singing brothers and sisters, and it will take a while, but we know that is a binary construct that no longer suits us. It is all people, not just men and women, brothers and sisters. You may call me a rebel with a cause today. I do not recite the Pledge of Allegiance because my allegiance is not to a symbol, a rectangle of striped fabric. I do not sing patriotic songs that glorify war, whether they are battle hymns or are lauding bombs bursting in air. I cringe when I hear politicians end their speeches with "God bless America," because I don't believe in the concept of the singular Christian God to which they refer. Does this make me any less an American than my neighbor? While it's probably not standard or even best practice to begin remarks with disclaimers, that is exactly what I need to do. The views I am expressing are not those of the clergy, the staff, or of the congregation. They are mine, and I speak for myself. I am exercising what in Unitarian Universalism calls freedom of the pulpit. I am neither a scholar nor an historian, and I have exercised my best efforts to divorce politics from the substance. With that said, I invite you along with me on my squirmy patriotic journey. It begins 6 decades ago in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, where I was born and lived for my first 22 years. It's an area steeped in the history of our young nation. From where I lived, there was Plymouth to the southeast, north to Boston, and west to Concord and Lexington. Elementary and junior high school field trips included Plymouth Rock, the Mayflower, Plymouth Plantation in the fall, and the Freedom Trail, Breed's Hill, not Bunker Hill, the Old North Church, and Old Ironsides in the spring, typically around the original Patriots' Day, the third Monday in April, commemorating the ride of Paul Revere. During my childhood and teen years, I felt quite comfortable in my red, white, and blueness. My family hung our flag for every holiday. We were careful to observe proper flag etiquette. We attended parades, and I considered myself patriotic. I knew all the words to all the songs I no longer sing, and then I sang them loud and proudly. I was so excited on my 18th birthday. It had nothing to do with alcohol. I registered to vote. That was my gift. At the time of my late teens and early 20s, I was in what I can only refer to now as my know-it-all period. I was a militant, obnoxious, and in-your-face atheist. I had it all figured out, of course, as young people sometimes do. There is no God. There never has been. There never will be, and I don't even want to talk about it. I was right, and everyone else wasn't. I couldn't stand the word God or anything that referred to God, starting with God bless you after a sneeze, and all the patriotic songs, especially God Bless America, and then the Pledge of Allegiance. I began to get squirmy in my patriotism. Keeping in mind my immaturity, I wondered, how could I love my country with all these God references attached to it if I did not believe in God? Admittedly, I did not think about it very long or hard. It got set aside, I let it be, and life went on. From my mid-20s to late 30s, I fell into a period of patriotism best described as benign neglect. With work, marriage, raising twins with special needs, there was little time or energy for anything else in my life. I still tried to keep up on current events, and I voted in every election, but that was really about it. I would occasionally remember to put out the flag on holidays. We'd hit a parade once in a while, but not much else. Approaching age 40, I realized there was an empty place in my life. With the help of a very dear friend, I began exploring what exactly that might be. The short version, and you're lucky for the short version, is that story played out with me discovering the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent on April 12th, 2001. My empty place, my lack of a spiritual self, was being fulfilled. But 5 months later, another turning point, another sentinel moment when life would never be the same occurred. My America, your America changed forever. And if you're doing the math, it's September 2001. Memory is an interesting thing. We remember where we were and what we were doing when certain events occur. They are indelibly imprinted in our minds and on our hearts. President Kennedy's assassination, the first moonwalk, the Challenger disaster, the destruction of the World Trade Towers. It is the last of these, in the fall of 2001, that completely altered my patriotic relationship with America. In the days, weeks, and months following the tragic events of that day, I realized that what had been intense and extreme annoyance had morphed into anger. And the anger I was feeling was not toward the bombers, their religion, their reasons, whatever they may have been, or their countries of origin. I was angry at people of my country who, with what I call knee-jerk patriotism, reacted particularly badly. The hate speech about Muslims, Islam, the Middle East, terrorists, the Quran, revenge, and bloodlust abounded, and it made me feel sick. I was in a state of uneasiness, and I was angry. I was reminded of a comment by Albert Einstein, who once said, "Heroism on command, senseless violence, and all the loathsome nonsense that goes by the name of patriotism, how passionately I hate them." It didn't really matter what kind of package it was put in or how pretty it was wrapped in a flag. The fact is, hate is still hate. What was being said and done in the name of America and by so-called patriotic Americans disappointed, distressed, disheartened, and depressed me. At that time, I said nothing and did nothing. I did not feel that there was anyone I could trust with how I felt. It seemed disloyal and unsympathetic to the memory of those who were killed and injured. It seemed unpatriotic and un-American. And it would feel worse when the Patriot Act was passed and the Homeland Security Agency was created, when our civil rights were being eroded in the name of national security, when Massachusetts Patriots' Day was co-opted into Patriot Day on September 11th, when war in Iraq and then Afghanistan was being waged at an incalculably enormous cost in lives, and the creation of obscene debt. Oh yes, it felt worse. I doubted my Americanism, my love of my country. I knew I needed to make some kind of peace with my squirmy, uncomfortable patriotism. What to do? In times of great turmoil and stress, I did what brings comfort and inner calm. I turned inward to my own common sense and to my faith. Since the passing of those militant atheist days, and in my growing Unitarian Universalism, I had made my peace with God language, defined what the concept and word meant to me, so that really was not the issue. Part of it was working on the acceptance of the worth and dignity of all the parties, the bombers and their allies, the Muslim haters and Islam bashers, the politicians, the president at that time, all of them. It was not easy. This is where I left off with Squirmy Patriotism 10.5 years ago, when I delivered a service similarly titled on October 14th, 2012. In revisiting it, I find it more challenging now to commemorate, much less celebrate, patriotic holidays, especially the 4th of July. I acknowledge its rightful place and importance in the history of the United States. Goodness knows my education in Massachusetts will never let me forget that. But it's more than knowing the history. It's acknowledging what it is supposed to symbolize and should mean to an American. To quote the esteemed history professor and scholar, Dr. Vivian Sandland, the 4th of attribution, I have to attribute the quote. The 4th of July is about a set of ideals, universal liberty and equality. It is not about the worst of what often gets called patriotism. It is about commitment to ideals expressed in the Declaration of Independence. Ideals still unfulfilled. Look around our America today. Is there universal liberty and equality for all? I will answer that with an unqualified and resounding no. There clearly is not. And we need not look far to see that glaring truth in all its ugliness and isms. Racism, classism, elitism, ableism, anti-Semitism, white nationalism, and burgeoning fascism. Add into that the blatant intolerance and overt hatred for anyone who is not of white European ancestry and identifies as cisgender. This is not a society or country that I particularly want to celebrate on Tuesday, especially considering and acknowledging the very recent and painful Supreme Court rulings. One might suggest that if I don't like this America, why not leave? Oh no, no. That would be the easy solution. Because, my friends, there is too much work yet to be done. Over the past 10 years, I've been trying to address my squirmy patriotism on several fronts. Becoming better informed and involved in local, state, and national affairs and politics. Becoming part of the free election process, well, it's still free, election process by serving as a local election official and advocating for equality whenever and wherever I can, especially for LGBTQIA+ siblings. It's my job, and it is my civic responsibility as a citizen of this messy, fractured nation. I respectfully but unequivocally state that it is each person's job and responsibility as an American to work unceasingly for universal liberty and equality. On Tuesday, as you enjoy a parade, hang or wave a flag, host a cookout, attend the fireworks, and perhaps, if you are lucky, enjoy a paid day off from work, I ask you to seriously consider the unfulfilled ideals of the 4th of July and how each of us can recommit and dedicate ourselves to universal liberty and equality for all. Without exception, all means all. I leave you with these words by Adlai E. Stevenson. I venture to suggest that patriotism is not a short and frenzied outburst of emotion, but the steady dedication of a lifetime. May it be so, and amen.
Thank you, Elaine. Two tests of the spiritual life are the capacity to give and the capacity to receive. Our community thrives in its shared life as each of us participates in the circle of giving and receiving. This is possible because of your generous gifts, not only money, but your time, your passion, your care for each other, and recognizing that we are all interconnected. To help others in our community thrive, we also give to agencies and organizations in Kent and beyond that serve those in need. July's special offering is for the Immigrant Worker Project, the IWP. It was founded in 1998 to address the needs of the farm workers and rural migrant communities in Ohio. At the heart of the project is a deep commitment to economic, legal, political, and social justice for the Latinx community. IWP supports human dignity and justice for immigrants while building communities that embrace cultural diversity. In the spirit of gratitude for the gift of each other in this community and the abundance that makes our generosity possible, we now give and receive the offering as a sign of our shared commitment to the life and work of this congregation and beyond. Will the ushers please receive the offering?
You'll find the lyrics to this song in your order of service. That is a hint. And also, I wanted to tell you that I've included some of the squirmier verses of this song. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said, no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. Oh, that side was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple, I saw my people. By the relief office, I seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can ever make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. And a big finish. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
Now, to bring our time of worship to its close, would you join me in the words for extinguishing our chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. May we carry these in our hearts and minds until we are together again. Now I invite you to rise and join in singing our closing hymn, number 1017 in the Teal hymnal, Building a New Way.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. Peace and freedom is our way. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Yeah.
Our words of benediction are by the Reverend Jim McGaw. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in mindless oblivion. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go without challenging yourself and others. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in utter ease and comfort. When I say go in peace, I mean go in peace seeking justice. I mean go in peace committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. When I say go in peace, I mean go in the peace that is created when together we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace. Amen.